foggy headlights aren't just an aesthetic problem. According to safety studies in the United States, heavily oxidized headlights can reduce nighttime visibility by up to 70 to 80%. That's the difference between spotting a deer on the road or not. And here's the crazy part. Replacing modern headlight assemblies on many cars and trucks sold in the US can easily cost anywhere from $600 to over $1,000. But here's the truth most dealerships won't tell you. In most cases, you don't need new headlights. You just need the right method. Today, I'm going to show you 5 fast fixes and 1 permanent solution that can make your foggy headlights look almost brand new. Some of these cost just a few dollars. Some work better than others. And one of them can actually make things worse if you're not careful. Make sure you stay until the end because the last method is the only one that truly lasts long term. Let's get into it. Starting with the quick fixes. Solution number 5, the toothpaste method. This is probably the most famous DIY headlight trick in America. And surprisingly, it actually works. Not because toothpaste is magical, but because of what's inside it. Most whitening toothpaste sold in the US contain mild abrasives like baking soda or silica. These act like extremely fine sandpaper. When you rub toothpaste onto a plastic headlight lens, it gently removes the top layer of oxidation and surface grime. That's what makes the lens look cloudy in the first place. The process is simple. Take a regular whitening toothpaste, not gel, and squeeze a generous amount onto a clean microfiber towel. Rub it onto the headlight using small circular motions, applying steady, even pressure. Don't rush this. Spend about 3 to 5 minutes per headlight. As you work, you'll notice the toothpaste turning slightly gray. That's oxidation being lifted off the plastic. Once you're done, rinse the headlight thoroughly with clean water and dry it with another microfiber towel. Right away, the lens should look noticeably clearer. Now, for the downside, this fix is temporary. Toothpaste offers zero UV protection, and UV radiation is the main reason headlights oxidize in the first place. On a car parked outdoors in states like Florida, Texas, or California, the fog can return in just a couple of weeks. You can slow this down by applying a coat of car wax afterward. But think of this as a short-term cosmetic improvement, not a real repair. But what if I told you there's something else in your house, probably sitting in your kitchen right now, that works in a totally different way? Solution number 4, the baking soda and vinegar combo. If toothpaste reigns as the go-to quick polish, this mixture feels like a throwback to those fun volcano experiments, but it actually clears up lenses effectively. Baking soda provides that soft scrubbing action, while the acidity in vinegar helps dissolve stubborn residues and loosen oxidized buildup. Start by combining about 3 tablespoons of baking soda with 1 tablespoon of plain white vinegar. It'll fizz up into a spreadable paste. Use a damp sponge or cloth to spread it over the lens, then scrub in overlapping circles with moderate force. Keep the area moist by adding more paste if it starts drying. Spend 4 to 7 minutes per headlight for best results. Rinse completely with water afterward and dry thoroughly. Most times, you'll notice a solid improvement in brightness and transparency right away. A popular twist that lots of drivers love. If vinegar isn't handy, have a fresh lemon or even a lime, and dip the fleshy side straight into baking soda. Rub it across the lens. The citrus acid mimics vinegar's cleaning power, and the natural oils add a little extra shine. Either way, it's incredibly cheap and uses stuff you likely already have. Of course, like the toothpaste method, this doesn't include any UV blocker. Exposed to sunlight without protection, the haze will return within weeks or a couple of months at best. Still, for zero cost and minimal effort, it's a solid option when you need clearer vision in a hurry. Coming up next is a technique that leaves many scratching their heads. It's not meant for vehicles at all, originally formulated to ward off insects. Yet folks swear by spraying it on their lights for a rapid transformation. Solution number 3, insect repellent containing DEET. This one always raises eyebrows, and for good reason. It does produce quick clarity, but it's risky. Repellents with DEET include powerful solvents that don't just deter bugs. They can soften polycarbonate surfaces. Spraying and buffing it in temporarily smooths out the rough, oxidized texture, giving an almost new-looking shine in minutes. The major downside? It often strips away whatever remains of the original factory UV barrier, leaving the plastic vulnerable. Without that protection, reoxidation happens much quicker. Sometimes the yellowing returns aggressively within days or a week. Over time, Repeated use can make the lenses more prone to pitting or even microcracks. If you're in a real bind, like prepping for a quick sale or photos, it might buy you a brief boost, but always apply it to a cloth first, never directly on the car, or protection, and avoid contact with paint, as DEET can etch clear coats or cause irritation. It's effective in the moment, but you're essentially accelerating future damage for immediate gain. Not something I'd recommend regularly. Solution number 2, the WD-40 shortcut. This multi-purpose spray has been a garage essential for decades, great for freeing rusted parts, quieting squeaks, and general lubrication. And surprisingly, it can temporarily brighten dull headlights too. The way it works is by depositing a thin film of lightweight oils and penetrants that disguise the haze rather than removing it. Apply a light mist to a clean cloth. Avoid spraying straight on the lens to prevent overspray issues. Then wipe evenly across the surface. The lights often take on a deeper, glossier appearance almost instantly, improving light output for a short while. But here's the reality. It's purely cosmetic masking. No actual oxidation is eliminated, so after exposure to rain, washing, or heat, the coating wears off and the cloudiness reappears, sometimes in just days. It's handy for last-minute touch-ups, like before listing your vehicle online or attending a show, where you want that polished look without much work. Just remember, it's no substitute for proper cleaning. All these approaches can tide you over in a pinch, offering temporary relief without much expense. They improve visibility short-term, but won't stop the underlying UV degradation. There's still one hybrid option that's a step above these hacks, bridging the gap to a more reliable fix. And right after, I'll reveal the lasting method I rely on for every vehicle to keep lights bright and safe for years. If clear nighttime driving matters to you, you won't want to miss the final reveal. Solution number 1, dedicated headlight restoration kits. When you're tired of experimenting with everyday items like toothpaste or household cleaners, and you're not quite up for hiring a pro, these specialized kits offer an ideal compromise. Tailored explicitly for the polycarbonate lenses found on most vehicles in the American market, they come fully equipped with all the essentials: abrasives, buffing agents, and often a protective layer against sunlight. Everything is prepackaged, eliminating the need for improvisation or mismatched supplies. Allow me to spotlight 3 standout choices that I've tested extensively myself. Kicking off with the 3M Headlight Lens Restoration System. It's earned its reputation as a staple in workshops nationwide. The kit features sanding discs that attach to a power drill for efficient, uniform work, along with varying abrasive levels, a specialized buffing solution, and a finishing sealant. It demands some hands-on involvement, but the transformation is dramatic, providing enhanced durability that outlasts any makeshift remedy by several months. Next up, the Sylvania Headlight Restoration Kit shines in its category thanks to its innovative UV-resistant topcoat. This is the key element that sets it apart. The process involves abrading the surface, refining it, and sealing it with a coating that integrates seamlessly with the plastic when done properly. From my experience, this can maintain pristine condition for up to 12 months or more, even on automobiles exposed to constant outdoor elements. Rounding out the trio is the Turtle Wax Headlight Lens Restorer Kit, which stands as the most wallet-friendly pick. It includes pre-moistened wipes for the lens, a restorative formula, and a protective application. While it may not penetrate as deeply as the pricier alternatives like 3M or Sylvania, it's incredibly user-friendly for novices and yields a rapid, noticeable upgrade in appearance, typically ranging from $15 to $30 across stores in the States. These packages deliver reliable intermediate outcomes. They're far from everlasting, yet they surpass the fleeting effects of simple home-based techniques by a wide margin. However, for those seeking lenses that remain transparent, not just temporarily, but for an extended period, it's time to elevate to a professional-grade, enduring approach. This is the technique I depend on for all the cars I service, ensuring optimal performance and safety. I'll guide you through it meticulously, phase by phase. Phase 1. Assemble the necessary equipment and materials. To achieve a genuinely lasting outcome, precision in your toolkit is crucial. Here's precisely what I rely on for an authentic, durable overhaul. Begin with wet-dry abrasive sheets in progressive coarseness: 600, 1000, 2000, and 3000 grit levels. Immerse them all in a bucket of water prior to beginning to soften them up. Next, a simple misting container loaded with fresh water. This is vital for maintaining lubrication during the abrading process. Protective masking. Opt for blue masking tape and large plastic covers to safeguard your vehicle's finish. Stock up on microfiber cloths, at minimum 4 or 5 fresh ones. Avoid any disposable paper alternatives, as they can introduce flaws. For the refining agents, I prefer 3M's heavy-duty rubbing formula for initial abrasion and Miguiar's fine polish for the ultimate sheen. If possible, incorporate a random orbit buffer equipped with sponge applicators. Manual application is feasible, though it extends the timeline and increases fatigue. For the final barrier, Turtle Wax's UV protective applicators or 3M's aerosol clear finish are top performers. Safety gear is non-negotiable. Protective hand coverings, eye shields, and a particle filter mask. With this arsenal ready, you're set for success. Phase 2. Perform a deep cleanse on the lens assembly. Overlooking this foundation is a common pitfall that leads to irreversible harm. Abrading over contaminants embeds them deeper, resulting in permanent gouges that are tough to erase. Initiate by rinsing the area with lukewarm water mixed with a touch of mild detergent. Employ a gentle cloth or sponge for light agitation, then flush away all suds. For stubborn accumulations like oils, residues, or environmental buildup, wipe with a solution of 70% rubbing alcohol using a dedicated microfiber. This swiftly dissolves impurities. Ensure complete drying afterward with an uncontaminated cloth. Steer clear of paper products to prevent fibers or abrasions. I recommend having multiple cloths on hand, one primary for moisture removal and extras to swap if needed. Don gloves during alcohol use to protect your hands from dryness. The majority of uneven outcomes stem from haste here, so invest the time for a spotless base before advancing. With the surface immaculate, proceed to shielding the adjacent zones. Phase 3. Securely tape and cover nearby surfaces. For optimal precision, I'd advocate extracting the entire light unit, granting unrestricted access and superior finishes, but I recognize that many drivers in the US hesitate with such disassembly. Thus, here's a secure alternative. Select premium masking tape in blue or green hues, paired with plastic drapes or even household garbage liners. Methodically apply the tape along edges of moldings and body panels, ensuring firm adhesion to block seepage from liquids or pastes. Extend coverage over adjacent sections like the wheel arch, front fascia, and upper panel if they're in proximity. Take your time. Abrasives exploit any oversight rapidly. A handy suggestion: reinforce tape overlaps at edges and angles, as these are prime spots for errors. Once fortified, you're primed to tackle the opacity. Phase 4. Initiate the initial wet abrading stage. For severely discolored or pitted lenses, commence with 600 grit paper. Milder fog might allow starting at 800 grit to preserve material. Pre-soak the sheets in water for no less than 10 minutes to enhance flexibility. Mist the lens generously and abrade using consistent left-to-right lines, ensuring each sweep overlaps the prior by roughly half. Maintain constant moisture. Dry conditions can generate heat that warps the material. Apply moderate, steady force. Avoid excess pressure to let the grit perform naturally. Dedicate approximately 2 to 3 minutes per unit, then clean and evaluate. Aim for a consistent, matte haze devoid of lingering discoloration. Persistent blemishes? Extend the session slightly. Upon uniformity, advance to finer levels. Phase 5. Progress to intermediate grit levels. Halting at rough stages ensures residual marks persist, undermining the end result. These mid-range abrasives eliminate prior imperfections. Transition to 1000 grit-soaked paper, sustaining the spray of water. Now, shift to up-down motions, contrasting the initial orientation for thorough coverage via this intersecting technique. Overlap passes halfway and allocate 2 to 3 minutes per side. Follow with 1500 grit in the same manner. Between switches, rinse off debris slurry and dry for inspection. The texture should evolve toward greater evenness. A useful check: angle a light source to reveal any prominent grooves. If present, continue refining. With a cohesive appearance, move forward to the concluding abrasives. Phase 6. Conclude with ultra-fine grit abrading. This phase marks the shift toward visible enhancement. It erases remaining traces and primes for luster restoration. Adopt 2000 grit wet paper, keeping hydration steady. Abrade side to side lightly, with overlapping actions for 2 minutes per lens, then wipe. Elevate to 3000 grit, reverting to vertical paths while ensuring wetness. Invest another 2 to 3 minutes, culminating in a blended pattern of horizontal, then vertical for flawless uniformity. The lens may appear opaque at this juncture, but that's intentional. It's now ideally prepped. Thoroughly flush and review before the next transition. Phase 7. Thoroughly flush and dry the assembly. This often underestimated action prevents catastrophe. Residual particles from abrading can contaminate the buffing, yielding subpar clarity. Use a mister or low-pressure hose to drench and evacuate all remnants. Err on the side of excess water. Post-rinse, employ a pristine microfiber for gentle patting dry. Discard any previously used fabrics to avoid cross-contamination from embedded debris. Designate specific cloths for this purpose. Post-drying, inspect under angled illumination for a uniform satin finish without gloss or inconsistencies. Spot irregularities? Revert to fine grit for corrections. Only when flawless proceed. Phase 8. Introduce abrading and refining agents. Many assume this mirrors casual methods discussed before, but consider, we've invested in 7 preparatory phases already, underscoring the depth for sustained excellence. Quality matters. After trials, I endorse 3M Perfect It for robust removal and Miguiar's Ultimate for polishing prowess. Both are readily available domestically and lens-safe. Alternatively, Mother's offerings excel in final gloss. Dispense a modest amount of the coarse agent onto a foam disc on your orbital tool at moderate RPM. Circulate continuously without lingering, treating segments for 30 to 45 seconds before cleaning. Once opacity lifts, swap to the finer polish on a soft pad. Executed well, the material turns translucent and sleek. Phase 9. Implement a sunlight-blocking layer or varnish. While abrasion restores immediate brilliance, omitting defense invites rapid reversion from solar exposure. Hence my aversion to ephemeral tactics. For longevity, select from targeted barriers. Wipe style like Cerakote's UV packets or Miguiar's durable coating, both accessible and effective. For shop caliber resilience, a 2-part varnish such as Spraymax's 2K variant mirrors professional applications, enduring extensively. Ventilate well, gear up with protection, and mask meticulously. Layer sparingly. Single applications suffice for sealants, dual for varnishes. Adhere to guidelines. Negligence here shortens lifespan dramatically. Phase 10. Allow adequate hardening time for the barrier. Impatience here frequently causes flaking or swift degradation. For liquid or aerosol protectors, refrain from contact for an hour minimum and immobilize the vehicle 4 to 6 hours post-application. Extended rest fortifies adhesion. With chemical curing varnishes, permit 12 to 24 hours undisturbed, preferably sheltered from elements. Avoid moisture or contaminants during this period. Haste nullifies efforts. Phase 11. Conduct a comprehensive review. The gratifying finale. After full setting, assess in daylight for absolute transparency sans tinting. Probe closely with illumination for any swirls or disparities. Minor fixes are possible via light buffing. All items referenced are accessible via links in the notes. Equip yourself, adhere to this regimen, and witness the profound benefits of a meticulous do-it-yourself lens revival. There you have it. Your illumination is revitalized for the long haul.